Get started, I do want to remind you too that if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. And throughout the time, I will answer when our asking question when appropriate, or we will, we'll have time for questions at the end as well. Okay, so Spencer, go tell us what you're going to be talking about today.
All right. Today I'm going to be talking about job searching websites and how to find a job using the internet and different job searching websites, and also how to watch out for job scams, because those are...
Okay, so are you saying that we just don't walk out on the street and just find a job?
I mean, you can, but it's less likely in these times.
Yes, less likely. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Go ahead, Spencer.
Yeah, of course. So there are several different job searching websites. You have like Monster, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed. And those are probably three of the most popular job searching websites. There are a few others, but a lot of them are more likely to contain job scams just based on their usability and popularity, really. When you go to one of these websites, they're very simple. You can type in, the area that you're in, that you're searching for a job, and what type of job you want it to be, or just you can search like all jobs, all jobs available in the area if you're not looking for anything specific. Also, one of the things you can do, instead of having to go into each job and, filling out your resume, if you have a resume saved on your computer, or you can make one up, I believe several of the websites also offer opportunities or files that you can fill out as a resume. Then when you go into the websites for each job that you want to apply to, you can just autofill your resume. You don't have to sit there and type that out every single time. A lot of the job searching websites are very useful in the way that it can help you find a broader search of jobs, instead of just, walking, like Miss Robbie said, walking out on the street and seeing a, help wanted poster. There are, unfortunately, people out there that use these job searching websites as a scam, where they'll post a fake job offer, and then when you apply to their job, they will either steal your information or steal your money without you actually getting, a real job. A lot of times, though, these job scams can be, found out by if the employer is asking you for any information or anything like that before you actually get the job, like your social security number or some sort of credit card or number like that. Never give that to them until after you're hired and you're sure it's a, credible job posting and an actual job. And even if it is a real job, you don't have to give them your social security number until after you're hired. And no job at all should ever ask you for your credit card number or anything like that.
So are you saying that they would not, one of the questions is, because some jobs are out there, they ask you to send money. So what would you say about that, Spencer?
Yeah, that's a big red flag. If any employer is asking you to send them money, then most likely, well, 100% likely it's a job scam. There'd be no employer that will ask you to ever send them money for any reason at all. Even if they say it's for like online training or something like that, a lot of jobs will either give you money while you take the training, just like you're working a regular hourly wage. They'll do that while you're taking the training, or they'll say that it's not a paid training, but you don't have to pay anything for the training.
Spencer, one of the questions we have here is, if you're not sure about some detail of the job that's important to you, like it might be the pay scale or it might be hours or something along those lines, is it okay to email them or to get in contact with the employer to ask them any questions?
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of employers actually are more likely to hire you for a job if you're asking them reasonable questions about the job position, because then that shows the employer that you're actually, interested in the job and are willing to ask questions to find out more about the job. because then that, like I said, that shows to them that it's something that, you want, and you want to make sure, it's a credible job.
I guess it shows more effort on your part as well. It
Yes.
makes sense. Also, another question was, how can I be sure it's not a job scam? Now, you mentioned a little bit about that. Is there anything else you'd like to share on that?
If also, like I said, along with if they're asking you for money or your social security number before you get hired, or if they're asking you for money at all. Another thing along with that is if they're offering you a pay wage that seems too good to be true, like if they're offering you like $1,000 to $2,000 a week guaranteed, that seems a little bit too good to be true, and it would be wise to send questions to them and ask them more about it. And a lot of times, if you ask a employer about, the job position, any questions you have, they'll answer you fairly quickly and accurately about them. But if the so-called employer seems to kind of avoid the question or answer the question indirectly, that may also be a job scam.
Okay. Well, what about calling the number that they give? A lot of times they'll have a telephone number, even if it's a scam. So what do you what do you say about something like that?
Well, if you call them and you ask your questions, and a lot of it seems very reasonable, um, then most likely it is a credible job, but you still may need to also watch out for, if they ask you for money or your social security number or anything like that. And be sure to get, all the fine details on the job just to make sure that it's not a job scam. There are a few other things you can watch out for, like if, you're trying to ask a so-called employer, a lot of questions, and they seem to start getting, agitated or upset that you're asking questions, that can also lead to them, it's kind of showing that, okay, well, this person's asking too many questions. So, they're getting annoyed with you asking all the questions, which may show that it's a job scam and not an actual employer.
That makes sense. And now, another question that we had here, Spencer, was what if I apply for multiple jobs and get offered a job at two different places? That's a good thing. But what are they supposed to?
And this is where a lot of people actually kind of panic, because they're thinking, oh, well, I just applied for a bunch of jobs and I got offers back from several of them, but does it seem rude if I turn them down, now that I've applied and everything? And no, not really at all. You might want to explain to them, that you were searching for several jobs and several other companies answer you back, and you've looked into all the different jobs that you got answers back from, and it seems like this one fit your person better than their job or something like that. And a lot of times companies will be absolutely fine with that. They shouldn't have any problem if you pick, some other job over theirs.
And I know I have always been told with that as well, that as long as you write a professional response to that, you Chris, thank you so much for the offer of the job. Because you never know, you don't want to burn a bridge either. It might be
Yeah,
something you end up going back to at some point in time.
yeah.
And I have heard of people actually getting a higher offer financially too, where they were offered more just because that one employee really did like their interview or whatever.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A lot of times, if you send that to the employer that you're getting hired on to, or one of the other ones, they'll actually make an offer with you that will offer you higher pay than the other company that's trying to hire you.
So that made so we got a win-win there.
Yeah.
So, so the last question here we have is, what if I'm an employer looking for employees? What suggestions can you give to them?
A lot of things, just like for people looking for employers, you can use Indeed and Monster and ZipRecruiter. And I believe even LinkedIn is another job searching website where you can actually post a job search for people to, fill out their application to try for you to hire them. The opposite of trying to get hired, you're trying to hire people. A lot of those same job searching websites do the same thing, just work in reverse.
Okay, well, that's great, Spencer. I appreciate answering those questions. I know that a lot of what we're trying to do is to sort of lessen that digital divide. And I know a lot of young people are more familiar with them, would go on the website and online to fill out things like this. But as we're targeting adults now, it's not embarrassing to feel like you don't know how to do that, because young people have been brought up with that. And so it's normally a little bit easier for them to navigate. So if you do have any problems with that and you need some individual help, as we mentioned last week, we went over the Google site that we have that has been created. It has a lot of information on it, but it also has a section, and I don't know, Spencer, if you're able to bring that up or not, but it also has a section that that you can link to that will give you your personal information. You just contact us, let us know if you need to have personal help, and that could be where it's a Zoom, someone working with you, or if you wanted to set a time to be able to actually physically come and help us work with you on that, we'd be glad to do that. And our text change makers teams have done a really good job of helping do that. So now I'm not know, Spencer, would you be able to bring that up? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I can show them where to go, and it's
Okay.
fairly simple. Over here is the Campbell County Tech Changers website. And if you just scroll down a little bit, this first box right here that you can see, you can click this, and this will take you to a Google form that'll let you fill out, what you need help with, and who you are in your email, how we can contact you. That one's one way to do it. Or if you just want to email us directly, you can click on this chat with us box right here, and that will just directly take you to an email. Or if you're on your phone or something, you can just enter in our email to whatever email you use to be able to contact us, and then you can just email us directly, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible with what we can do for you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Spencer. I really appreciate you helping us today. And if there aren't any more questions, we'll go ahead and give a quick close. And if you need any help, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you so much. Have a good day.